So, what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video, where today, due to your request, we're going to be taking a look at exactly how classified happens. How exactly this map comes into play, explaining how our characters got here, and just taking a look at its storyline so far. Of course, I believe there is still an ending to this map which is yet to be discovered. However, if you're not familiar with the old zombies story, then this could be quite confusing. However, I'm going to try my best to explain it for you guys today. As always, if you enjoy the video, a like rating would be appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. But let's get right into it. Here we go. So you can see by the classified intro, this map takes place in between Shangri-La and Moon in 1963, and takes place just weeks before 5 is supposed to happen. We can see in the intro we have our four Ultimus characters, Takeo, Nikolai, Dempsey and Richthofen, at Shangri-La. We know they came here to collect the focusing stone. They previously went to Call of the Dead to collect the golden rod. Richthofen needed both of these devices so he could take them to the moon and use them to open the MPD pyramid. And so, as we see, just as the characters are about to teleport to the moon, a zombie goes to attack the teleporter. Dempsey attempts to shoot it with the baby gun. Richthofen tells him to stop, but it's too late. Dempsey already shoots the wonder weapon at the zombie, and when he does this, the rays that release from the wonder weapon hit the energy surrounding the teleporter, causing it to overload. As we know, this is the exact same thing that happened back during Yuris. When Ultimus were at that facility, about to travel to their next location, which was Call of the Dead, whilst in the teleporter they accidentally shot the Wunderwaffe DG2. It overloaded the teleporter, and instead of sending them to Call of the Dead, it sent them through time to Kino der Toten, causing Richthofen to lose his diary. Hence why he had to go on this whole journey to Ascension to find it. If he never overloaded the teleporter in Yuris, he more than likely wouldn't have had to have gone to Kino or Ascension. But this time around, the same thing happened in Shangri-La. Dempsey shot the baby maker, it overloaded the teleporter, and instead of sending them straight to Moon, where they would have originally gone, it sent them through time to 1963, the Pentagon, where in the cutscene we see them looking around, wondering exactly where they are. Of course, Richthofen already knows, because he had previously made a deal with people working here. He made a deal with Cornelius Perlum, handing them over information about Group 935, and in return, some of Group 935 scientists would get to work at the Pentagon. Richthofen was trying to save some of his former employees from what would happen once Group 935 was disbanded. Of course, that happened a long time before Classified takes place, but Richthofen had previously been in contact with the Pentagon. However, we can see they look around, they each find different objects. Dempsey finds the Winter's Howl, Nikolai finds a vodka bottle, Takio finds Nova 6, and Richthofen finds a portrait of himself. Again, the portrait of him is here because the scientists at 5 admired him. They admired his work and the help that Richthofen had done for them. We can then see on the other side of the world, in the Soviet Cosmodrome, Ascension is happening at the same time as 5, where Yuri tricks Gersh into using the Gersh device. Yuri told Gersh that he had fixed it and that he wants to show him how it works, and so he told Gersh to place it down. That's what he does, he activates the device, and then Gersh gets sucked through it. And then over on the moon, Samantha tells Yuri to also go inside of the Gersh device, and she sends him to the Pentagon, where she tells him to go there and unleash the zombie horde. Because Yuri at this time had his mind overtaken by Samantha, Yuri read Richthofen's diary, he learned about 115, the zombies, Group 935. Samantha used this to her advantage to get inside of Yuri's head, and so she now basically controlled him. She told Yuri to go to the Pentagon, unleash the zombie horde, and then just as Yuri is about to join in, as he originally would on 5, Samantha stops him and sends him away. And we can then see Samantha controlling the zombies, telling them to attack the Ultimus crew. We can see there are still people working inside of the Pentagon whilst Ultimus fight off against the zombies, and then just as they are surrounded, the intro ends. And so that is where Classified starts. Now, it's unclear whether this map is part of the original timeline or if it's a fracture, maybe a pocket dimension. We aren't really sure. Jason Blundell told us that this map is a new take on the storyline, but again, that's not really clear whether it's part of the original story and our Ultimus crew did go here originally. This event was never mentioned in the Chronorium, and of course, if you go back to Black Ops and play Shangri-La, Classified is never mentioned. We go straight to Moon, and also if you look inside of the Chronorium, it says Ultimus teleports to Shangri-La in an effort to acquire the next artifact that is required to defeat Samantha, and it then moves straight to Moon, where it starts off with using the Vril device and the focusing stone. Richthofen completes his grand scheme and swaps bodies with Samantha on the moon. It never even talks about how they got from Shangri-La to Moon. We didn't know that up until this point, where we can clearly see they used a teleporter where they should have gone straight to Moon, but Dempsey fires the baby maker, overloading the teleporter, sending them to Classified. Personally, I don't believe this was part of the original timeline, and so could only mean that Classified is a fracture. It is a fractured universe, just like our Zombies Chronicles maps, but again, like I said, I can't be 100% sure on that. Also, the fact that this map takes place a week before 5, surely if this was part of the original timeline, then 5 wouldn't have actually happened, because if there was a zombie outbreak a week before 5 was supposed to happen, I'm pretty sure the Pentagon would have been in a different situation. So, I don't know. The other interesting thing is, well, we don't have the Pentagon thief as a boss in this map. We can see by the intro he was going to attack our Ultimus crew, but Samantha stopped him and sent him away. It's unclear as to where she sent him to. Maybe she wanted to save Yuri. 4-5. She wanted him to attack JFK, Nixon, Castro, and McNamara. Maybe that event still does happen a week later, and Samantha wanted to save Yuri for that, and so sent him away. It's also possible she sent him to a place we don't know of. Again, we're unsure. But the question is then, well, what happens now? We know in terms of Easter eggs and story for this map, in Groom Lake, there is another set of the Ultimus characters being held in Hangar 4. Basically, prior to this, Cornelius Perlum, who worked at the Pentagon, along with Dr. Schuster, a former Group 935 employee, built this teleporter at Groom Lake with the intentions of connecting it to the moon. They basically wanted a direct link that they could use to teleport to the moon. And one day, as Schuster and Perlum were doing experiments on this teleporter, they accidentally teleported the characters from Moon down to Groom Lake. They teleported those characters back in time from Moon, which takes place in 2025, to 1963 classified. They teleported those Ultimus characters from Moon to Groom Lake, in which when they arrived, we know they were in very bad condition. Nikolai, Takeo and Dempsey, due to the mass amount of 115 that they'd been exposed to over time, they basically lost their minds, they had serious damage, and as for Richthofen, his body was catatonic. He no longer had a soul because Maxis had plucked Samantha's soul from his body, and so Richthofen should have been dead. He had no brain activity, but his body was still alive. All 4 of these characters arrived in Groom Lake in very bad condition, pretty much dead but still alive for some reason, and so we know that the scientists at 5 captured the Ultimus crew and kept them in Hangar 4. They were going to use them as their test subjects. And of course the scientists at 5 already knew 2 of the Ultimus characters. They knew Richthofen and Dempsey. Richthofen because they'd worked with him before, and Dempsey because he was a Marine for the US. Cornelius Perlum used to be his handler. But all 4 of these characters are kept in Hangar 4 and were ready to be used as test subjects by the Pentagon. Of course, we also know that zombie Richthofen teleported into the hangar and gave Ultimus Richthofen his soul, bringing him back to life. But all 4 of the Ultimus characters are still locked in Hangar 4 in classified. You may be thinking, well, how do we have 2 sets of Ultimus characters? Well, if this map takes place in a fractured universe, we know that this set of Ultimus characters was teleported back in time from Moon to 1963. So there are 2 sets of them in this map. As for what's gonna happen to them though, we don't really know. Like I said, I believe there's an ending to Classified that we haven't yet seen. Some people think that the Primus crew are gonna come here to awaken Ultimus Richthofen so he can help them to defeat Dr. Monty. Personally, I think that's the most likely as well, but we'll just have to wait and see. However, that is exactly the storyline of Classified. That's how it fits into our Zombies timeline, and that's the background of it that we know of so far. So there we go. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. If you have, as always, a like rating would be appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. And of course, I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, goodbye.